How we doing, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to my updated Hystria guide after the changes from the last patch. All the rooms have been affected. In general, everything's been slightly nerfed. Some rooms more than others. Some rooms are no longer viable in my opinion, and I'll get into those once we get there. I haven't tested every room, and the reason is I don't think the rooms are viable, therefore I haven't tested them. I'll get more into that when I get to those rooms, and I'll give you the reasons why I haven't tested them, but I will be doing those tests later in the future. Now, I have got some good, clear, concise feedback for the devs. I am going to spend at least 2 more days of proper grinding and testing these rooms out to make sure I'm not giving the devs misinformation, because I want everything to be as accurate as possible when I send it to them. Because in my opinion, there is some very simple things that they can do to bring current version of Hystria to the version of Hystria that we deserve as players. I will send them the raw video footage, but I will upload that footage onto YouTube so you guys can see what information I'm giving them. If there's anything specific you guys think that might help as well, please let me know, and if I am going to use it, I'll give you credit. If not, I will tell you why not and why I don't think it's something that they should worry about, or why it doesn't work. But obviously, if it gets to that point, we'll have that discussion. Now, first room we're going to be looking at is the 7 Elten rotation. It's now only got 4 Eltens in it, and this is a room I'm actually going to have to retest, and I'll tell you why I'll be retesting it towards the end of the pool. But let's not waste too much more time and get into it. So when you come into the room, you're just going to run past these guys, aggro them like so. You want to drag everything to this side of the room, super armor whilst you're waiting for everything to get here, and then head back towards the original side to get this pool nice and tight, and then clear it however you would clear it with whatever class you're using. And then once these guys are cleared out, we're going to come up to this top section here, aggro as many mobs as we can, and bring them back to this side of the Elten and clear them like so. And then once those guys are cleared out, we're going to grab whatever's left up here and drag them down to this Elten over here. And clear them like so. So I've broken this room down into 3 pools, and I overclear. So I only overclear by a little bit. I think it's going to be worth for me in the future to retest this room without extending the rotor. So basically waiting for this guy to respawn and re-clearing the room like I just showed you. But the way I have tested it and the numbers I'm going to be giving you is with the extension. And this is the extension that we are going to do. So we'd come down here, grab those mobs. You'd actually aggro... no, we aggroed everything there, so cancel what I was going to say. But then, this is what I used to do for my initial tests, and this is how I cleared the mobs. After this one, I'd go back into the original room and rinse and repeat the rotation. The numbers I got from this rotation was 25 to 2600 trash per hour. I never hit 2600 or broke 2600 trash. So it was all underneath 2600 loot scroll trash. Around the 2500 2550 mark was what I got. I did 3 tests in this room. Unfortunately, I used to get 3000 trash an hour in this room pretty consistently. But normally, let's say it was 2.9 to 3,000 trash, but I did hit that 3,000 mark relatively consistently when I was in try-hard mode, which I definitely was yesterday when testing all of these rooms. I was being as efficient as I possibly could be. So that is a nerf from 400 to 500 trash, which is pretty significant. That's around 7.5 million if it's 500 trash from the upper end. That's 7.5 million just there. But the less trash you get means you're killing less monsters. And when you're killing less monsters, that means there's less pillar scrolls, the pillar scrolls dropping for you. There is less BMCs, there's less tongue-grad necks, there's less black shards. So there's all these extra items to keep in consideration. It's actually pretty considerable when we're talking about 500 trash nerf. So that's the 7 Elten rotation out the way. Now, this rotation here, which I don't know if it does have a name, I did not test. Now, maybe, by the looks of it, you can probably get some decent trash values out of this room because it does have some good densities. But the reason I didn't test this room is because it has 0 Eltens and only 1 Tanko. And in my opinion, that's just not the quality of mobs I'm looking for when grinding Hystria. I still need the compass part. I do want better chance of getting tongue-grad necks. Eltens have the best drop rate for tongue-grad necklaces. So that is why I didn't grind that room there, but I probably will be testing that in the future. If I feel like it's a very good trash numbers room, I will let you know. But we'll be talking about the Kalkisha room next, and I'll see you after the cut. Okay, so this is how I grind the Kalkisha / Black Shard room, whichever name you prefer to give it. So we just grab the 2 D-mods at the top, aggro as many mobs as we can from our left-hand side, and clear them like so. Grab those guys, grab these guys, bring it all to the Elten, and clear these guys out as well. Obviously, when you guys are clearing, you should be using your Black Spirit Rage and E-buff on cooldown, but I'm probably not going to be doing that too much during just me showing you how to pull these mobs. So you're going to come down here, grab those Kalkishas, grab these D-mods, grab as much as you can from the packs at the bottom, and then you're going to clear them out like this. And then once this is cleared out, grab whatever left down here, grab everything up here, and pull these 2 mobs together and clear them out like so. This ends up being 4 total pulls, which seems to be the theme for the rest of the rooms coming up. It's 4 pulls basically to clear a room, except obviously the first one, which was the old 7 Elten. And then I didn't overclear even when I was clearing at max efficiency and I was fully buffed. So this new Kalkisha / Black Tard rotation still has a very good density of Kalkishas. So I would say it's probably going to keep that name. And it also, the problem is though, it doesn't have the Elten anymore. There used to be 3 Eltens in this room. Now there's only 1. So it's lost 2 of its Eltens, which is a pretty big nerf to this room. But in terms of trash numbers per hour, with the rotation that I showed you, I was consistently getting 2,700 plus trash an hour. I did 3 loot scrolls in this room. Mostly around the 2,750 is the trash I was pulling. One time I did pull 2,803 trash, which was actually the first time round I went with a loot scroll. I think I just got lucky during those pulls that time, that the trash that was dropping, I got higher ends of that trash. I didn't get many 1 drops. I probably got more 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 drops, which is why I got 2,800 trash that time. I couldn't get the other 2 times. It was pretty consistently around 27,000, 2,700 2,750 trash. So that's the 7 Elten. What I used to get in this room was about 2.9k trash in the past. It was like 2,800, 2,900 trash. So as you can see, we're only losing roughly 100 trash per hour here. I used to get less from this room just because the way it used to be laid out, and the old extension I did was going to this 2 car up there. So it wasn't the extension to this room isn't a good one, so I'll show you. The extension is exactly the same. The difference is there used to be one more Kalkisha that I used to pull. So if you do have to extend this rotation currently, you'd come up here to this Bolton, you grab these 4 Demols and this Kalkisha, and you'll clear it out. So it's actually not too different than what it used to be, except for the Elten. The Eltens have been significantly nerfed in that room. Now we're going to talk about this room here. A guild member of mine by the name of GTL Empire calls this the 3 tanko room, and I like it because it is still relevant. There are still 3 tankos in this room, and I'm going to reset the mobs and show you guys how I clear the 3 tanko room. So now that it's all reset, what we're going to do is come up here, make sure we got the aggro of these 2 Kalkishas, and then bring everything down to this Bolton. And this is where we're going to start our rotation. In terms of Eltens for this room, it used to have 3 Eltens, now it has 2. So it has been nerfed slightly, but the Eltens have not been nerfed as significantly in comparison to the old Black Shard rotation we just looked at. So you aggro all these dudes, clear them like so. Now there's a reason I'm going from where I started. I took a right and not a left. Normally my old way of clearing this room, I used to actually clear it in the reverse rotation that I'm doing now. I used to go the other way. So instead of coming to this pack after the last pool, I take a left and go to a different pack. The reason I've done this is the next pool. So I'm going to show you guys how I pull it and tell you why we're going in this direction. So you're going to come down here, get some distance from the Elten, hit him a little bit so he comes towards you, and then pull everything behind the Elten. And this is how you're going to clear this section here. Now, the reason we do it like this is because of this little guy here. There is one too many mobs in this rotation. If you were to come in the other direction, you would aggro everything here, but then when you come to aggro this side, which is where the most important mobs in this pool are, there's going to be one mob that you're not going to be able to pull. It might be this 2-2 car, the 2-2 car, whatever this thing is, however you pronounce that, or it could be the Elten, or it could be a Kalkisha, or it could be the Vodka. You don't want that to happen, which is why we're coming this other direction to make sure we aggro these 3. And sometimes when you're pulling it, there'll just be a Demol, one of the testicle mobs that do not get aggroed, which you can live with because they don't drop anything valuable. So it's better than going the other way and losing a valuable mob. Now that that's out of the way, let's get to the next pool. So this is the last pool in the rotation before we go back to the beginning. You just grab everything and again, bring it behind the Elten and do your rotation. And once these guys are cleared out, you go back to the beginning, you take everything over here, take it down there, clear it, take a right, and rinse and repeat the rotation that I've shown you. Now let's talk about numbers. So before the nerf, before the changes, I used to consistently pull again 2,900 to 3,000 trash per hour in this room. I was more than I didn't pull 3,000 as many times as I pulled 2,900 in this room. Compared to 7 Elten, I used to pull 3,000 very consistently. This room, I only hit 3,000 every now and again. Now, What that means is now I'm pulling consistently with this current rotation 2,700 trash. I have not been able to get to the 2,800 like we did from the Black Shard room. I think the main reason for that is, even though the pulls are pretty similar, it's 4 pulls for this rotation. It's a much longer rotation, so we're spending more time traveling in the circle compared to the Black Shard room / Kalkisha room. So that's why I think the discrepancy comes. You have more potential of getting slightly more trash in the Black Shard room at the minute with the way things are compared to this 3 Tanko room. So that is a nerf of roughly 200 to 300 trash. It's not too terrible. It's not as bad as the 500 trash nerf that we were talking about from 7 Elten, but it's still 200-300 trash, less than what you used to get, which again translates to less scrolls and less rare drops. And we have lost an Elten as well, which is another big nerf to this room when you're comparing it to the original room. Now I'm going to cut and I'll see you guys in side rotation. And I haven't done tests for side rotation, which is pretty obvious when we get there why I haven't done that. I'll see you in a second. So here we are, we've made it to side rotation. I think this rotation is dead. I could be wrong, but I'll show you how theoretically you'd clear it. You'd clear this room first, which is all these mobs that are basically following me right now. You'd clear these guys if you wanted to do it, test it out yourself, because maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's not dead and you can make something out of it. Then you'd probably grab this side of these mobs over here and these mobs over here, and then you'd clear these guys as one pack. Then you'd come down, you'd come over here first, you'd aggro these guys and then take as many as you can from this section over here, which is probably just 1 or 2 mobs. You'd clear it, and then you'd take whatever's left, aggro as much as everything up here, and then clear that roughly where I'm standing here, and then rinse and repeat. But the problem is, the reason I don't think this rotation is viable, too many gaps. Not only is there too many gaps, too many important mobs are missing. So now there's only 1 Elten. So there's 2 Eltens missing in this room. There are now 0 Tankos in this room. There is only 1 Vodkan in this room, and there's a bunch of missing Kalkishas. So I just think there's too many important mobs missing. And after you clear this room here, so after this is all cleared, you'd have to trek it all the way back. This is a long travel distance. All the way back up here, start the rotation again. Because you'll need, this will be breaking it into 4 pools. There'll be 1 pool up here. You'll be doing 1 pool over here. And another pool there, and then finishing with 1 pool there. From what I've seen with his new respawn rates, 4 pools is basically as optimal as you can make a rotation. It's 4 packs of mobs, and you can start back at the first pack, is what I can see with my AP. If you have less AP, maybe this room will become viable then, because you don't have to do so much traveling. You can just do 3 pools in this room. So maybe at less AP, this room is a thing. If you guys want me to test it, I will, and I'll let you know what the numbers are. But I haven't tested it, and it's not a rotation I will be grinding myself. But let's talk about main rotation. Because of the update and the mobs are respawning so much quicker now, main rotation is really split into 2. Everything on that side of this wall, on the other side of this wall, and everything on this side of the wall, minus this pack. This pack here that I'm just shooting right now. So it's basically 2 separate rotations. Now I haven't tested the side that I'm currently on, which is this side. The reason being is there's no Eltens on this side, so I don't think it's worth it. I think that this side of the wall on main rotation is worth clearing, because not only has it got an Elten, but it's also got more Kalkishas on this side of the rotation as well. So I believe this side to be the superior pool for main rotation. And I don't think 2 people are going to be able to share this room, because you're going to be fighting over this pack. This pack, you need to have this pack for grinding that side of main rotation, and you also need to have this pack for grinding this side of main rotation. Now, before I show you my pool and talk about the numbers, 5 Elten is no longer a thing either, because let's say 5 Elten, you would start here, you'd clear these guys out, then you'd clear these guys out, so you got 2 packs. You'd come into this room, right? You'd clear these guys, so this is still not too bad, you can drag them together and clear these guys. And then you could come over here, pull these guys down to this section, clear them out, but then this is where you're kind of just stuck, because you're going to come back, and this is a very long process to get back up here. And then it's like, okay, what do I do? You probably want to clear the Elten, because right now the reason you did 5 Elten rotation is to increase the number of Eltens in your pool. Now, the new respawn rates are going to allow you to go in a circle, so you clear on that side and then you can repeat your circle. But you're still only killing 1 Elten if you do that. So you're like, okay, well, I'm going to have to come all the way over here to kill this Elten. But then, now you're going to have to come over here and put these 2 packs together. It's a lot of extra traveling and a lot of extra mobs to kill just for 1 extra Elten, and it's not worth it because of the new respawn rates. If you were just to stay in main rotation, you will kill this Elten twice as fast as doing 1 rotation of main and side put together. So instead of doing 1 rotation with 2 Eltens in it, you're just going to kill this Elten twice in the same amount of time. So that's why I think 5 Elten isn't a thing, and I also didn't test it. But I'm going to reset the mobs now, and I'll show you how I pull main. Okay, so now that everything's reset, we're going to start right here with main with the Elten. So you pull everything that you can, bring it behind the Elten, the normal stuff. It's only 1 Elten in this room now instead of 2, which is another pretty significant nerf. 2 main rotation. And this is how you would clear it out. So once that is cleared, you'll grab the aggro of all these Kalkishas. And then you're going to stand right here in this divot. So the reason we're doing this, you could just super armor and do some damage, is to aggro this, oops, I went one too many evasions right there. To aggro this Bolton over here. And then you're going to clear these mobs like so. I think there's only 1 missing Kalkisha in this pool, because it's still a pretty good... I'd have to look at my old footage, but I think there's just 1 missing Kalkisha. I might be wrong, but I'll double check that on a later date. But that's a pretty good density of Kalkishas with a Vodkan right there. So that's how you clear that out. Now there's 2 different ways of clearing this next room. I've tested both of the loot scroll, and I've had more success with what I'm going to show you in this right now. So normally I'd come in here, I'd pull those guys, and I'd bring it behind this 2-car Bolton, and I'd clear them out. So I've had more success in terms of trash numbers pulling it like this, but there is another way you can pull it, and I'll show you that in just a minute. I'll be cutting back to me entering this room when it's fully respawned, and I'll show you guys the other way and why it could be more beneficial. So the other way to clear this room is upon entry, 99% of the time that guy's going to aggro either way. You're going to stand roughly here, use your range to pull the other Bolton, and then you're just going to move backwards here, and then once they get pretty close to each other, you're going to come behind them, and then you're going to clear them out. Now sometimes when you're trying to do this pull, it doesn't work out, and you just end up having to spend a lot longer because the mobs don't group very efficiently. So that's why I've had more success with just ignoring the 1 Bolton, because basically you just there's just 1 Bolton that you're not killing. So that's anything from 1 to 4 or 5 trash per rotation that you're missing out on, which isn't that much. Whereas by pulling this 1 extra Bolton, sometimes you're spending a lot longer clearing this mob. And that's ended with when I was pulling it the way that I've just showed you, I was getting roughly 100 trash less than when I ignored the Bolton and pulled it the first way I showed you by bringing it to this corner. But anyway, so that's why I've done that. If you're very good at pulling, it might be worth doing it the second way I showed you. It just depends on how good you are and how good your class is at aggroing the Boltons. Now, for the next pull, it's pretty straightforward. You just come in here, grab those dudes, grab these guys, get them nice and grouped up, and clear them out. And this is the 4th pack in our rotation. And from what I can see with these new respawn rates, 4 packs is all you need to do before you can go back to your first one. Even when I'm clearing at full speed, these guys are all respawned 100%, and then you would just start the rotation from the top. And that is how you clear main rotation. So let's talk about numbers. I never used to grind main rotation before this patch, so I can't give you definite numbers of what I used to get. I did sometimes come here and sometimes pop loot scrolls, but I never tracked it, because usually I just come here when I'm waiting for one of the other rotations to free up, and I never really kept track of my loot numbers. But I would imagine it would be similar to the 7 Elten and the 3 Tanko rooms. I do think I probably was getting 2.9 to 3k trash, but I can't be 100% sure on that. If anyone else used to clear Hystria a lot, and they did keep track of the trash they got at main, and the trash they got at 3 Tanko, and the trash they got at 7 Elten, let me know if they were all the same throughout. Because for me, they're pretty much all the same. There's 3 Tanko room and 7 Elten room was almost identical. Maybe the 7 Elten room used to take it by, let's say, 50 trash on average. 100 at most, but usually it was pretty much in the ballpark. I think the old main rotation would probably be falling under that ballpark again. Now, with the current changes in main rotation and the pool that I just showed you, exactly how I showed you, ignoring the second Bolton, so I was getting 2,700 and change trash per hour with a loot scroll. I never hit 2,800 like I did once in the Black Shard room. So it seems to me that the 3 Tanko room, the Black Shard room, and the main rotation is going to be consistently pulling 2,700 trash at my current AP, which in all 3 instances is roughly 200 to 300 less trash than what we got previously. The Black Shard room is slightly different in the fact that you used to get a little bit less trash there in the past anyway, so it's less nerfed than what it used to be, but in terms of now, it's pretty much the same trash values that I'm getting here and the other rooms that I've mentioned. Now, I'm going to retest the 7 Elten, but because it's restricted to 3 packs in the room, I'm still certain that it's going to be less than 2,700 trash. Maybe by not extending it like I did in my tests, I might be pushing more consistently 2,600 trash in that room, but I don't think it's going to make much difference. So my general thoughts of Hystria at the minute is not as good as it used to be, but it's still viable, and I'm still going to be grinding Hystria. Most likely I'm going to be in one of the 3 rotation that I just mentioned, which is the Black Shard, the main, and the 3 Tanko room. I don't think I am going to, unless things change, I don't think I'm going to be grinding the 7 Elten rotation, which I guess now can be referred to as the 4 Elten rotation, as the trash values are just not good enough for me personally. In terms of how I'd rate one room to another, I think that in terms of pure money, consistent money, I think Black Shard room is going to be the best because it's the smallest out of the 3 rooms in terms of the rotational path that you're taking, and it has the highest density of Kalkishas. So consistent money, I think that's going to be the best room by a small margin, but keep in mind there's only 1 Elten in that room. Now, I think the most solid rotation So that's consistent money, but I think the most solid rotation, most balanced rotation out of the three is going to be the 3 tanker room. I think the 3 tanker room, because it's got 3 tankers and 2 Eltens, I think that room is a very solid room that I will probably be grinding. If it's not the Black Shard room, I'm going to be grinding that room. Those 2 rooms, I'll be grinding in between them 2. I think main rotation is very good. It's got a very good concentration of Kalkishas. It's only one tiny step behind the Black Shard room in Kalkisha concentration as it stands right now. And again, it only has 1 Elten in this room. That is my overall thoughts of the new Hystria. I think it does need some tweaks. Like I said, I have some ideas that I will be posting out there. Guys, it is quite a long video. I hope you have enjoyed what you've seen. I hope it's been educational. Please feel free to write any opinions you've got of the new and old Hystria in the comment section down below. If you can, leave a like. That would really help my channel out. If you can share it with anyone that you think this might help, please go ahead and do that. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.